response was superb. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And viewers, thank you for tuning in. Wow, so much is going on. We've got fireworks in the Diddy trial with Cassie today. We have got Cassie naming people even that were complicit in these activities. We have got secret Epstein footage that could show Prince Andrew and Virginia set to be released in the US. I've reached out to Ryan Dawson on this, Kirby Summers, and the consensus is if she was unalived, this is a huge factor that could have contributed to the timing. But we are going to get Lionel's thoughts. And if you're not familiar with Lionel, he's an ex-prosecutor. And all of his links are in the description box below this video. So please support his channel and Lynn's channel. Lynn, his wife, was on last week. Phenomenal guest. And they've both got channels, so please subscribe over there as well. But huge thank you for coming back, Lionel. I don't know where to start. There's so much going on.
Well, and by the way, throw one thing in regarding Virginia, and that is the fact that her fortune, which could be $12 million or more, was under threat by virtue of this other lawsuit with a $10 million judgment. So that could have perhaps theoretically wiped out her award. Some people say, I don't know. Look, we can play this game all day long. Let me just say this before we leave Virginia. I'm not going to say anything. I want to see the tax report. I didn't even know what happened, how she was unalived. Do you? Does anybody?
Well, my theory is pharmacide, and I think we're going to find an autopsy, and she's going to be riddled with big pharma drugs, prescription pills. I think there's going to be a long list.
Nope, I don't. I'm telling you right now, we don't know anything. Anything. It could have been the most absolutely. It could be so riddled with problems you can't believe. Do not. I'm not saying you're doing this. Do not write a script. You know, they say that not only will people sing, what is the old expression, when you put the heat on the mob, not only will they sing, they'll compose. And I know that people love, not you, mind you, no. But some people sit back and I think it's this, and they offer. You don't know anything. Remember, Marilyn Monroe, they said that she downed an entire bottle of whatever, and they didn't find anything in it. So unless and until I have no opinion, nothing. I'm not writing a script until I see the police report. I want to see what people said about how she was excited about, she was going to maybe redecorate or add on to her house, or whatever it was. So we don't know anything. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. I do know more about Diddy. That's another story, though.
Yeah. So, we've got constant updates coming in from the live court reporting. So I'll just go over the most recent ones then. We have got Cassie says she was expected to participate in freak-offs during her time of the month. Mm-hmm. Baby oil used in freak-offs at Diddy's request. Cassie describes Diddy as a scary person. She got emotional when recalling feelings for him. She felt disgusted and humiliated during freak-offs. Diddy confessed voyeurism fantasy before proposing freak-offs. Cassie says Diddy was ready to confront Suge Knight in the middle of a freak-off. Combs had guns in safes in his homes. Cassie says visibly pregnant Cassie appears in courtroom sketch. Combs would take away Cassie's electronics and cars as punishment, she testified. She said Diddy controlled her career and appearance and said she looked too Mexican. Wow.
I get that all the time myself, by the way. So I know what that feeling is like. And I say, yo no quiero trouble. Okay, so what? By the way, one thing quick parenthetically on Andrew, just so we don't forget. I want to see what Andrew says. Andrew says, I never did anything. I don't sweat. That's what I want to say. Because everything else is pretty much moot. Hey, Andy, come here. Take a look at this. Is it, what is that I'm seeing here? You said that, okay, that's going to be funny. That's going to be good because that goes to the whole turmoil of what's going on in the royal family. Okay. I don't want to be a killjoy. I'll let everybody else do this. So what? So what? I don't care. Did you hear what they said about his oh, by the way, I was thinking about you today because you have this incredible laundry list of codes that we must speak in order to say certain things. And I'm thinking we're getting into undonism, urolagnia. I'm throwing words in there. I don't think anybody's going to pick up on that. And I'm going to say, I wonder what Shaun's going to say about this one. There's stuff right now. I don't even know why. So now, question number 1. Remember, what is he charged with? Number 1, racketeering conspiracy. Let me say this and then we'll go through this. They allege that he was leading a criminal enterprise. Anybody else in the enterprise? No? It's just him, huh? Okay, all right. Just like Ghislaine, she's human trafficking. With whom? I don't know, somebody, I guess. He's leading, Shaun, a criminal enterprise that engaged in the traffic word, sex, forced labor, kidnapping, arson. There we go. Bribery and obstruction of justice. Have you heard anything about that so far? Nope. I'm the defense lawyer. I'm writing this down. Go ahead, Cassie. Talk about your stuff again. Arson, no. Kidnapping, no. Okay. Count number 2. I'm going to call it ST, a certain type of Trump or ST by force, fraud, or coercion. He's accused, Shaun, of coercing women into participating in drug-fueled sexual activities, often involving male escorts, and using recordings of these for blackmail. Is that trafficking? Well, yeah, I guess. Maybe. I guess if you could allege that he, by force, fraud, and coercion, he's getting them into it and then using evidence of it to get them to do it again. So how did they start in the first place? This is a little shaky. And the third, this is my favorite, transportation to engage in prostitution. He's charged with transporting individuals across straight lines. It's called the Mann Act for purposes of prostitution. Prostitution! Now, go back with those stories. So what? So what? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I represent Shaun Diddy Combs. He's a creep. He's a freak. He's a perv. He's a paraphile. He's a nut. He's awful. I wouldn't want my daughter near him. He's not charged with that. He's not charged with that. Hell, you could get the Beatles, the Beach Boys, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, anybody. Think about their parties. And by the way, let's talk about that. You know, Shaun, in the old days, there were, remember the plaster casters? Remember those days? Sweet, Sweet Connie. Remember Pamela was a DeBar. A lot of these girls were underage then. They were called groupies. This has been around since day one. Did the federal government go after those people? No. This has been going on forever. So all of a sudden, this guy's public enemy number 1. So right off the bat, I'm going to frame this to the jury and say, get ready. Look at him. He's going to have the white hair. Nobody cares about that. He wears a sweater. He's got the Bible. Lose the Bible. Don't ever use that as a prop. That's stupid. But they're going to sit back. And if I did my opening argument, my opening statement, I'm going to say, get ready. Get ready. I'll ring a bell. Just remember, trafficking, force, fraud, and coercion, and prostitution gets across the state lines. Did you know, Shaun, in the old days, it was alleged that groups like, and I'm just going to say, let's say Led Zeppelin, used to have managers and people kind of look out in the crowd and say, that's one, 3rd row, get her for after parties. And then maybe when they went into towns, they kind of knew the girl's name. So hey, we're going to Cincinnati. What's her name again? Call her up. That's Mann Act violation. I'm crossing state lines to, and by the way, what is prostitution? It doesn't mean money, but it means sexual activity for some type of consideration. It doesn't. So this is okay. So now, and I'd love to say, every bit of my cross-examination, Cassie, is it? Yes, Cassie. Are you here for which charge? Are you for were you involved in prostitution? No, so it's not count 3. Force, fraud, or coercion. How long were you with him? And then you can show pictures of them together. Did you see the pictures of TMZ, the parties? Was he forcing it for? How much did you make with him? Was it fraud or coercion here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here? Tell me what caliber of the gun was used? What? The one that they put to your head that made you stay there. You could have left. Tell me this. If you don't escape, if you don't leave, if you don't object, I am presuming, I'm serious. All I want to do, Shaun, is make that jury say, he's right. I just want a little bit of doubt. And I want to get him on. Remember, I don't like this guy. I'm talking as a defense lawyer now. First of all, I'm going to make a million motions in limine. Limine. I'm going to say, I don't want you to talk about this. Don't 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 talk about that. What does a beating video have to do with anything? That to me is reversal right there. That's reversible error right there. What does it have to do with anything? What does it have to do with it? How about a DUI? How about a picture of him on a roadside sobriety test drunk? Throw that in there. How about the time he short-sheeted somebody at a hotel? So what? How about the time he stole shampoos from a hotel? Throw that in there. I mean, just load them up. So I set all these things where the court's going to say, denied, 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 denied. Good. Because I'm going to get you on appeal. Thank you, Judge. Thank you for denying all of that. Then I'm going to object. Object. Standing objection. Objection. Relevant. Objection. So when I get done, that's the Second Circuit Court of Appeals is going to get the appeal of this. They're going to say, oh, my God, from the moment I've got 1,000 counts, 1,000. Easy. And I know what they're going to do. They were on a tear. Now, if I didn't know better, I'm thinking, maybe they want to throw this. Maybe they want to do it. You know enough about this. If I've got, this is federal court. Normally, they've got you nailed. Maybe they're doing this just for fun. But why don't they just get down to brass tacks? Why don't they say, what is your name? Shaun Attwood. And Mr. Attwood, what do you do? I'm in charge of orchestrating all the girls who cross state lines. There we go. That's that. Were the girls threatened? Yes, they were told, if you don't do this, and if you don't come to our parties, if you don't work in my stable, so to speak, this is going to be harder than you think. There's a word, I'm not going to say it, it's a family show, it's called BS. Did you ever lie, Mr. Combs? You damn right I lied. I promised them everything. The moon, the stars, stardom, their record contract. Oh, I lied. The same way men lie all the time in bars, and women too. Where is this federal case? Trafficking? What are you talking about? Now remember, I'm talking about, and it's a very good point, I think this guy is a creep. That's not what he's charged with. I always use the expression, with the example. What if he's charged with arson? You're going to find him guilty because he beat up Cassie? You're going to say, wait a minute, what? Arson. They never mentioned any fire. So what? He beat up Cassie. No, wait. They charge him with arson. He didn't burn anything. What are you worried about those? He's a creep. And what if that were your daughter? What? So that's easy to understand. If I get that jury to say, I'm going to have a big poster blown up of the charges. Let's go through each one. Look at it. Here's my poster. I'm going to use the American flag as a pointer. What about this? Any arson in here? No. Let's cross that out. Okay. Bribery? Did he bribe? Who makes that? Who's a member of the conspiracy? Look, I can go on and on with this stuff. So they better have something. All they're doing is loading this up for reversible error. Remember, we have a great Supreme Court case, Michigan against Tucker, that says the defendant is entitled to a fair trial, not a perfect one. So it's one thing to have error, because there's always errors in trials, but this is reversible. There's also something called, and I don't want to load you down with too much of specifics, but it's a thing that all lawyers know about. It's called 403 evidence. It means when I introduce something which is so, it's probative, but it's so inflammatory and prejudicial. Let me give you an example. In every murder case, you always have to identify the dead body, the dead person. I'm charged with killing Shaun Attwood. So I've got to prove you're the guy and you're dead. I just can't, I killed somebody. What? Sometimes you might not be able to know who the person was, but you've got to make some attempt. Okay. And normally that's very simply done. Then a dentist will match records, a family member. Let's say I've got your dear mom on the stand. And I'm waiting for my moment. I'm going to say, I got to identify the body. Watch this. Mr. Attwood, yes, I'm going to show you what's been marked as prosecution's exhibit number 1. Do you know what this is? Yeah! And it's you in this horrible, and they got to bring her out. Now, is that probative? Yes. Did that prove a point? Absolutely. It proved the identity of the deceased. But it is so shocking that the tendency to prejudice, to confuse, to produce cumulative evidence, that's inadmissible. If they made that objection ahead of time and they're putting on, tell me, Shaun, what does the Cassie video have to do with any of this stuff? Or is Cassie saying she was teed, as it were? Is that what she's saying? Is she one of them? Is that what you think?
So the whole thing reminds me of the Marquis de Sade because there's so many parallels. Yeah, and you're talking about, Diddy beating someone up on camera in the Cassie video. So if we look at the Marquis de Sade, he ended up getting found guilty of, let's say, carnal relations with the back passage, R-wording, beating up a 36-year-old beggar woman, imprisoning minors in his chateau, and giving substances to and poisoning 5 ladies of the night with the aphrodisiac Spanish fly.
Oh, that's called, not cascara sagrada. Yeah, there's a name for that. We actually know the real. Anyway, go ahead. That's, by the way, a urethral irritant, as most people watching know. Proceed.
So you've got the Marquis de Sade beating up, this 36-year-old beggar woman, torturing and beating her.
Yeah.
But it just seems like morally that video is just going to put the jurors in an emotional state.
Thank you.
Where they're going to see the monstrous behavior of him, and it's emotion that moves a jury. It doesn't have to be facts.
It prejudices a jury. Absolutely. It prejudices. Oh, it'll move them all right. Oh, you're trying to get, not you, they're trying to get this guy basically found guilty. I'm trying to get him found guilty of what they charged him with. Not that I'm going to get this guy. What you're talking about is, listen, if you want to charge him with those things, charge him. Charge him in state court. Charge him with whatever it is. But are you going to be able to jump from one thing? Look, if you're on charge on trial for drug use or drug whatever it is, and I decide that I'm bringing up women in past relationships that you beat to a pulp, what difference does it make with your drug trafficking? You're going to say, yes, but it goes to show you the violence that Mr. Attwood is capable of as part of his drug, trafficking. Oh, come on. You're doing you're doing what they did to Harvey Weinstein. You're bringing up stuff that has nothing to do with this case. And people are saying, well, that's good that we know this. A trial is not it's not a movie. It's not a play. It's not This Is Your Life. It's not a biography. It's not a tell-all. It's a specific, I say you do this, and I prove it like this. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So listen, and they may have something down the line. Remember, he turned down a plea of some sort. I don't know what. What do you think about his kids showing up? Why are they doing that? That mother showing up with that blonde hair, and those kids all look like they're real rich. And why are they doing that? Does that help it? Do you think the jury even sees that?
It's theatre, isn't it, on both sides? So
Does it help?
The prosecution want to create an emotional reaction by, emphasizing the Cassie video, etc. And Hashimoto come on the other night, and he said there was a word for that type of a sweater, that these guys were they're looking sensible in these clothes, and they got the families in there because they're a family man now. So they want to put on their theatre show to make him look like he's a pillar of the community. He's Mr. Respectful. He's got his kids there.
Well, listen, they've always done that. For example, there's always, but the prosecution can't do that. I'm not trying to create. Remember, the prosecutor. I'm not trying to create imagery. This isn't a movie. This isn't a tell-all. I'm talking about. I've got a duty to the Constitution to charge you with this and prove you with this. Now, the thing about it is that doesn't mean anything to jurors. Don't even kid yourself. It risks It just risks, if anything, how do I say this? It risks either cementing or questioning guilt or something. But let me go back. What is your favorite movie? Just give me an idea. What's your favorite movie of all time? You got to pick a movie. One movie. Just say it. Any movie. What is it?
Perhaps The Godfather, the original
Me too.
one. Was
okay, the original one. Okay, me too. Now, why? The lighting, the cast, yeah, the plot, well, Marlon Brando. What is it?
Yeah.
It's a feeling. It's a feeling you get when you look to the west. No, it's a feeling, and you just say, you know what? I like that movie. One particular, I don't know, and then you say the second one, no fucked up with you. It's good too. 3, no, that's what a trial is. When you start saying, no. See, I want to start off by telling people right off the bat. Now, listen. If he's going to be charged with being a dirtbag, we'll plead right guilty. Amend the complaint. Amend the indictment. He's a dirtbag. Guilty. I don't know what that is, but if that's what you want, that's not what we're talking about here. If he's I don't know about it. Now, you got to be careful. Lawyers can't make their guy look, they can't say too much about him. But the point is, this is a world I know nothing about. Hip hop and this. Let me ask you something. If you were 20, 30, whatever it is, people, Shaun, women in particular, did anything you wanted. If you could get women to do anything you wanted and you wouldn't be found out, and you didn't even have to pay them, they just lined up. And you're in an industry that says, wow, there's Shaun Attwood. He's the man. What? Ooh, women can do anything. I don't know if some people would say, yeah, I'll do it. Sure, whatever. It's a world I don't know. I don't think you know. I don't want to know. But it's a world that is not on trial now. That's not on trial. It's something that for the people, they're going to, they did what? They did what? You should, whenever you talk about Intel, CIA, MI5, MI6, you know what those are? They're thieves. They're burglars. They're liars. They lie. They steal. They cheat for their country. It's horrible. You want to talk about war? It's terrible. Nobody knows what it's like. Politics, making sausage, whatever you want to call it. So I want to tell these people right off the bat, you're going to hear stuff that is like, woo. But this stuff has been going on since day one. Since Charlie Chaplin. Since Clara Bow. Since Louis B. Mayer. Since the beginning of time. It's a world I don't know anything about. It's not on trial. Now, they've got to prove it. If they say something, they've got to prove it. So I'm going to be sitting here, folks, and I'm telling you right now, you just be looking for this. I've already got my big chart. I want you to look at bribery, arson. I'm going to make them eat their words. Remember, count 1. First of all, 3 is the easiest. Who was transported over state lines for what exactly? For prostitution? Come on, what is this? Remember, oh God, what was the black boxer, the world champion, first black ever? They got him on the Mann Act. I forget his name. The first bare knuckles guy. Anyway, they got him on the Mann Act. The idea, it was so weird. Not that prostitution was involved, but crossing state lines. Now, I'm going to be very careful. You heard the testimony about the adult star, whatever, who I guess Diddy was into some kind of voyeurism or something and did a variety of things to her. Remember that one? I don't want to go into detail. Got to be careful. You should see Shaun's list. It's like the list is dirtier than the sickness of this mind. No necromancy. What? What's that? No frottage talk. What the hell is frottage? Anyway, that's okay. And by the way, necromancy is just talking to the dead. It's not what you're thinking of. Okay. So anyway, so you're going through this stuff, and the jury's going, And then in closing, I'm going to say, did you hear that? Did you hear what they put on the first day? What the hell did that have to do with anything? What did that have to do with anything? And remember, the first part is the opening statement. The opening statement is when you get to tell them, it starts like this. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the evidence will show. That's what everybody always says. The evidence will show. And I tell people this for opening statements. It's a very simple idea. You ever put together a puzzle when you were a kid with the pieces, and you open up the box and you go, what the hell is this? All these pieces. What am I making here? What is this? Here's the box. Oh, that's where we're going. That's what these pieces mean. Okay, I got it. That's what the opening statement is. The evidence will show. Now, the key is argue your case, which you're not supposed to do. You're just supposed to say, the evidence will show. Now, on this night, that Mr. Attwood conspired with a number of other people in his staff to bring women across state lines, and then count two. He did. You tell them, and this is what we will do. We will put on this witness, this witness. You kind of tell them, this is what's coming. They didn't do that. They put on a show. They were throwing, everything out. And I'm going to remember that. And I'm going to say at the end, in closing is the most fun. This is when you wrap all up. Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember when Mr. Attwood said that because now you're the prosecutor, that he was going to do this? I didn't hear that. All I heard was a bunch of stories that he used to freak you out because he wants you to think where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, they decided, when they came up with this indictment, to do absolutely... before I forget, let me just stop right there. Before I forget, this is how stupid and how awful these media are. Did you read the article or the headline that says, Diddy throws out her boyfriend or husband or something, throws him out of the courtroom? Did you hear that? Did you see that today? Throws him out. Oh, that rat bastard. Oh, my God, threw him out. You know what it was? It's called the sequestration rule. It's called invoking the rule. And you always say, first thing you do, Your Honor, we invoke the rule. Anybody who's about to testify has to leave so that you don't sit there and say, yeah, like he said. No, I don't want one witness to hear another witness. It's done all the time. They didn't throw him out. They ask, are you going to testify? Because if you sit in here, you can't testify. It's called the rule of sequestration. But the way it sounded was that Diddy threw him out. No, because you've got laymen, you've got little punks, you've got these kids who all they want to do is get the clicks and the likes. They don't care about perspective or nuance. They don't care absolutely nothing about the fact. Don't you want to hear specifically perspective? Don't you want to hear what's going on? Don't you want to know, this is my game, these are my rules? I don't know about you, but if there's a cricket match or a football game, and somebody comes out and talks about, Georgie Best or Maradona, you want somebody to explain the rules. Not somebody says, boy, he sure can't kick it. It was out of bounds, you schmuck. Things that look good to a layman miss the point when you know the rules. So they don't even care about that. They make it sound like day one. And they're making this to be... Here's the thing which people are saying. Are they trying to throw this thing? I don't know. Why are you putting on such a lousy case? The rule for prosecutors is I'd rather have a strong misdemeanor than a weak felony. Give me a charge that is overwhelming. May sound like I'm undercharging it, but just have 30 witnesses, one after another. So I'm saying he's there and everybody's looking at this. And the question now is, when it comes to the jury, remember, closing, you got to be very careful. But I would love to look at that jury and say, ladies and gentlemen, first I say thank you. This is closing. Thank you. I don't know what I'm saying thank you for. You were compelled. You got a summons to be here. You didn't come here voluntarily, but thank you, because I watched you. And Mr. Combs and I watched you. And you were paying attention. By the way, side note, Diddy's got to get training on what you do during the court. Don't laugh. Don't tell jokes. Don't look confident. They're watching you every second. Put the Bible away. You might be considered blasphemous. These people might be devout, and you're using this as a prop. You look down. You look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Don't nod. Don't smile. Look at them. Remember, you're an innocent man. You got nothing to hide. You're proud. This is your day. You've been wanting this since day one. Whenever the door was up, we stand up. Don't let the judge say, all rise. We stand up first. We show respect for these people. Because remember, we're happy. And also another thing, if you're ever arrested, if you're ever taken in, don't ever hide your face. Don't ever. I don't know what that thing is. Is that you or me? I don't know what.
You?
I've got that stupid emotions. I got to turn that thing off somehow. I was talking one day about the Holocaust, something really terrible, and this balloons went off. It's like, oh my God, this is not what I'm trying to say. Anyway, if you're ever arrested, you make sure that you look at that camera. Don't hide the handcuffs. Don't put anything. Don't ever cover your face. Don't ever. You show them. Say, look what they're doing to me. Look at this. I didn't do anything. I'm not hiding this. Always make sure your mugshot. You look at the camera. Look. Remember, you're innocent. You didn't do anything. They've got the wrong guy. Act like it, and don't go out of your way. But they're watching every move. They're saying, this guy's laughing. I don't know what's so funny. Well, he's just telling a joke. No, there's no joke here. There's no joke. So I don't like this case. I don't like this case. I don't like it. I think it's rotten. And with those miserable people, so far, all they got was R. Kelly and this guy. Think about it. That's it. Here in the United States, we have these. Everybody's thinking, now that Trump's in, we're going to have a perp walk. We're going to have arrest perpetrators walking. So far, they arrested a couple of judges. Nothing. This case stinks to high heaven. How bad is this guy? What about all the people who came to the freak off party? Were they granted immunity? Oh, that's the first question. The first time that sex worker gets there, Mr. Attwood, sex worker, because by the way, you're everything in this, in my opinion. You're the witness. Mr. Attwood, yes. Are you testifying on your own behalf, on your own, or were you subpoenaed here? Well, was subpoenaed. Did anybody waive? Did anybody grant you any immunity? Did anybody tell you that? Promised you, because you got a good lawyer, promised you immunity because you're going to be saying some stuff. You did what to Cassie? You did what? You did this, right? Not him. Not Mr. Combs. There's that thing again. There's that thing. I got to put my hands down. I swear to you, next time I'll turn that thing off. Anyway, Mr. So-and-so, now Mr. Attwood is the sex worker. Mr. Attwood, did you realize you did this, and you did this to her, and you did this at the behest? Did Mr. Combs threaten you, sir? Did he make you do this? And you are, let me get this straight, you are a sex worker? So you do this professionally? Is that what you're doing? Yes. And Mr. Attwood, isn't one of the definitions of being this is cross-examination, by the way, because I can ask leading questions. Mr. Attwood, isn't it true that being one of the attributes of being a good sex worker, of which you are, correct? Of course you are. Isn't one of the attributes, is it not being a good liar? What do you mean? Well, you're an actor. Your whole thing is ecstasy and you're excited. Some of those days must get long. You must be involved with somebody you're not too thrilled with. It's got to be tough because the worst thing in your business is have somebody yell, cut, we got to do it again? What is this? So you're an actor. You're a professional liar. You have to take scenes and embellish them. You've got to sell something, right? Because you're an actor. Isn't that what you do? Isn't that what you do? Yeah, but you're not acting now. No. And by the way, are you sure they granted you immunity from this? Because you just testified. If I didn't know better, that could be construed, if you hadn't granted immunity, and I'm sure your lawyer will tell you, you committed about 6 crimes yourself. Because from the sounds of it, it sounds like Cassie wasn't exactly consenting to this. Because isn't that true? That's what made Mr. Combs supposedly enjoy this, right? The fact that it was forced, the fact that it wasn't consensual. So isn't it true that you did it? You were the one who should be on trial. So did they grant you a deal? Did they say, we won't charge you with anything if you deliver the goods? So your acting better be real good today, or they may turn around and tell you, you know what? I think you violated our promise. We're going to charge you now. because he did it. And all these other people. First question, were you granted immunity? Yes. Did they make a deal with you? Because you were, because everybody's a co-conspirator. Are you part of the conspiracy, racketeering conspiracy? Yeah. Are you, and Mr., let's assume somebody said, pick a famous, I'm not going to say it, but pick a big name in the music biz, okay?
Mick Jagger.
Think of it. Okay, what? So he sits there and says, so let me get this straight. Did anybody grant you immunity? One after another, yeah. So you went to a party with about 100 people, and you see what there were drugs there, weren't there? Yes. Interesting. And there were underage people there, weren't there? I don't know. Mr. Combs didn't know either. Didn't help him. And did you hear that? Did you notice all the baby oil? Was that, what did you think that was about? So when you went there, let me ask you something. When you walked in there, you're telling this jury that you walked there, you didn't know what this was? We think it was a surprise party. What is this? And you stayed? Mr. Whoever, are there any pictures of you with anybody who might be perhaps of an age that might be precluded? So you were there the whole time. Did anybody grant you any kind of immunity from testifying? Because you violated the laws too. So at the end, in closing, ladies and gentlemen, all these people were just as guilty. If anything, Shaun's just watching. He's like Chauncey Gardner from Being There. I like to watch. Ben, I like to watch. That's it. Think about this. Now, he's slapping the hell out of Cassie, and that's a terrible thing. But all these other people, let me tell you something. He's a serial voyeur. He watches. And all these people say, you betcha. What you want me to do? Yeah, I worked for him. Yeah, I did it. What you want me to do, Mr. Combs? Slap her around? You damn right. Come here, you dynamite. How much is that? 50? Harder? I'm going to hit her harder? I know that always gets you because I could kill Shaun anytime with a southern. But the point is, what is this group? Everybody there is a participant in something. And Shaun's sitting back there, he's watching it. I put the parties on. Let's go through that Hamptons. You know, the Hamptons, we have the Hamptons, the big la-di-da place on Long Island. The white party, interestingly enough. And this is the hottest ticket. Is that Warren Buffett? I'm just saying, I don't know if Warren Buffett's there. Everybody went there. And you mean to tell me that you got him? Him? If I show up to a riot, let's say there's a riot, all the rioters get charged, right? Yeah. Well, think of this as kind of like a sex riot. And they were in charge? They're like all Sammy the Bull. Bad example. But what I'm saying, they're all ratting on him because they made him a deal. What is this? They're going to say whatever they have to say to protect their own. Again, Shaun's back there. I don't know. And Shaun was brutal and mean. Okay, all right, yeah. He was compelling, yeah. He's supposedly a billionaire. He's in the entertainment business. I thought you liked that. Isn't that? I mean, he's a cross between J.R. Ewing and Donald Trump and whoever. I mean, this is. So you see what happens after a while. If you let me at that jury, they're going to go home and they go, "What the hell am I doing here?" This is I started off hating Diddy. Now I hate them because this is stupid. Now you're wasting my time. I thought you were going to give me a real good. I mean, imagine, like, for example, there's some boiler room where people they're putting girls on buses or in, they're tagged and sent and shipped and that would be something. Or kids who are pulled out of school. You're going to work for me, right? You're going to work for me. You're going to do it. Yes. And we're going to send you to Cleveland and you're going to work for me and you're never going to see your mom. Now that's a story. And a racketeering enterprise where we have multiple tiers. We have this one, chairman of the board, like the Gambino crime family. We got him. We got Shaun in the sweater and the gray hair. He looks like Uncle Remus. What is this? This is the guy? This is Mr. I'm telling you, he's like pulling a Morgan Freeman. This is the guy. One guy. This is a joke. And after, remember, and people are going to say, and remember, Shaun, I don't have to prove anything. I just want not one little doubt. It's like you look at a diamond and you go, there's a flaw. Not perfect. That's it. There you go. Just one. And then they go, it's a retrial. It's a mistrial. Or he's convicted and it goes to the appellate court 5 years from now. And they look at this and they say, oh my God, this is real. This is horrible. He objected. You have to object to preserve the objection. But so they better know what they're doing. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you've got about a dozen questions pending. So let's try and zip through some of these.
Let's zip.
We have got, let's see. Is it possible they were setting the stage today? That's from Phoenix.
Setting the stage for what? You mean like kind of whetting their appetite? Like, well, whatever. By the way, CR, I agree with 100%. Setting the stage, no. Put it this way. Start the play. Start the movie. Don't set the stage. Go. Don't set the stage. Just get down to brass tacks. Don't mess around. This is you don't want to say, because they might be falling asleep. Okay, now we're going to start. You lost me already.
Get your questions in, folks. We're coming up to the hour. We've got about 15 minutes left. Lionel and Shaun, are the jurors under some kind of protection while the trial is going on?
Well, they're not sequestered, thank God, because that's stupid. But there are rumors that, remember, there are people who are around there who know everything about. No, this is federal court. Federal is just serious. How do I say this? There's only 4 areas to get in. There are professional people who can tell, kind of, sort of, maybe, because you've got in court observers. Juror number 1, wears the vest, bald-headed dude with a beard, kind of stares at the camera, freezes up a lot of time, drinks a lot of water. Yeah, that's number 1. And then and then somebody goes out and said, "Yep, that's him," so they can follow. Maybe that's really ill-advised, but sometimes also people want to sell their story. That's another one too. And you spend a lot of time going through social media, and they're going to be watched right now. Oh, I'm going to have an AI program. Now that I know kind of who they are, I'm going to go through because who was it? It was during one of the trials where one of the jurors was talking about how guilty somebody was, because people can't, help but so anyway, so it's not so much that the jurors are protected. We got to make sure that Diddy is protected from the jury, from going out and wanting to be the first guy. Hello, Harvey Levin? Yeah, listen, you don't know me. Because there's really nothing, it's difficult. It's to protect the jury. It's like a grand jury. Jurors are told don't testify, but it's to protect them if they want to waive it. So, I don't know.
So Doreen was saying, what about the witnesses being protected, because including the one that went missing?
Yeah, that was weird. A juror, or no, it's a witness, and the lawyer couldn't get a hold of the lawyer. That's not your witness. Normally they're on standby. The marshal's office deal. You know what I mean? They're there. They don't go. Again, unless I really understand the circumstances, this could be blown out of proportion. Just like I told you before, they said they threw him out of the courtroom. No. So I don't know. I don't think it was that big of a deal.
Are they charging him with possessing rifles, AR-15s with the serial numbers wiped? I didn't see that they were, but
nope.
That's weird, isn't it?
Nope. I didn't see that, because if you looked at that, now if they bring that up, I hope they do, because that prejudices jury even more so, especially now an AR-15, an assault weapon, a bushmaster. No, it was charged with, let me go back to the original one, the charge. Remember, always go to this. Always look at what he's charged with. Racketeering conspiracy, leading a criminal enterprise involved in ST, trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Okay. trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transporting to engage in prostitution over state lines. That's it. So this other stuff.
What about at sentencing? Could they use that as a aggravating factor?
Not really. Normally, you want to stay within the four corners, or maybe for bail or something. You can say this guy is dangerous. Maybe remember if he's found guilty, they might be asked to grant bond during the appeal, and they might use that as an excuse to say this guy is. You okay there, buddy? I'll tell you, those hemorrhoids will knock the socks out of you. Have a nice pillar like I do. Anyway, so we'll see. It's pretty much tangential, if you ask me.
Sky wants to know, has there ever been research done to determine the percentage of jurors who change their minds between opening and closing statements?
That's a trick question because they should have had not a mind set until closing. To say they changed their mind before the trial? That's another story. What happens is a lot of times people will go in there thinking something. See, this is it. They think, well, I'm a cop and I'm into law and order, but sometimes cops are the most critical of this. Teachers, they used to say, teachers, the rules. Nonsense. Or black people. Oh, black people are great for the defense. No, sometimes black people are sick and tired of people who get away with crime or their neighborhoods have been destroyed. So there is no such thing as what people. It's up to the lawyer to teach somebody. Remember, it's like Mr. Attwood. I love the analogy. If you go to a restaurant and you order, bangers and mash, and I bring you mushy peas, that's not what you ordered. I can't say, well, it's just. I like this instead. No, they ordered this. They said this. They could have come up with anything they wanted. Espionage, arson, whatever. So they picked this. It was their game. They listened to all the evidence. They could take all the time in the world. Reasonably, they won. But they thought these three were good. Why? Just like with Ghislaine. Remember what they got Ghislaine on? Lying on a deposition. You don't know how funny that is. Deposition are all lies. They should have a separate court just for the lying on the deposition. And they also charge her with, it was like nothing. Let me go back one more about her. Who were the other people in her, there we go again. Who were the other people in that, in the enterprise? Who? And in her trafficking, who were they? It's her. And we don't even know, well, how many were underage? I don't know. I don't know. They have used that P word and slapped it on Epstein a lot. Do we know anything about? Nope. Because remember this one thing. Everybody thinks that the Epstein case was about blackmail and extortion. That's the cover. That's a limited hangout. That's not what they were worried about. It was the other stuff, the boring stuff. Banking, international fraud, shell corporations, offshore, whatever.
So why do you think the witness disappeared and a lawyer too, apparently? So, Dawn, that was victim number 3, and the media reported that victim number 3 had feared for her safety.
That's that. Now, you got to be careful, too. How do you got to be careful that the jury can't hear that. Because they're saying, wait a minute. Why is anybody who fear for their safety? They used to do that during the mafia cases. Now, we're going to call you. We're not going to refer to you by your name. You're going to be juror number 1. Why? Well, we don't want him to find out. Who? Mr. Gotti over there. Why? Well, he's with the mafia. What? Wait a minute. What? Am I in the wrong trial? Oh, no, don't worry. But we're going to give you a number. So you got to be careful how you play this. You don't want to scare the jury. Because if anything, that says, well, I'll tell you right now, you can forget it. Because I'm going to use remember, a juror can always use the nullification prerogative and just find them and just vote not guilty no matter what.
Laurie, am I wrong to be shocked that we have yet to see in Diddy's world anyone who said no to what he offered? Did anyone say no?
Well, what did he offer? Now remember, racketeering, conspiracy, force, fraud, and coercion, trafficking, and state lines. That's what he's charged with. So remember, you see where we're going with this? And Lori brings up a good point. And by the way, don't I bet you they call you Lori Baloney, don't you? I'm just kidding. And that's no baloney either. There is the thing is that you're talking about something else. Anyone who said no, you mean those terrible people that the government is using to testify against him? You mean those people? Because they did it. He watched. You know, it's weird. Whenever you talk about the hitman versus the guy who ordered the hit, oftentimes the hitman is scarier, worse, and terrible than the person who ordered. Now, you could argue that the person who ordered is just as guilty, but juries don't like to say, oh, you made a deal with this guy? You mean he's a hitman? You mean he's done this before? And you made a deal with him? Well, how many? I'll take my chances with the old Italian guy there, but this guy, you know what I mean? So you've got to be careful how you portray these. I would have them as a bunch of liars who came in, they did all the work. Poor Diddy, all these people, they were all forced to do, especially when, how much did he pay you, Mr. Sex actor? How much were you paid? What did you do? You didn't do this on purpose. And Cassie, when this fellow did these terrible things to you, yeah. Did you consent to that? Was this part of some role play? No. So you didn't consent to it, did you? So are you wondering why you're not charging him with something? So you're saying this person who did these terrible things, you didn't consent to this? That kind of defeats the purpose from Diddy's point of view if he wants to see a kind of a real live action, whatever it is. So think about that. Ladies and gentlemen, closing. Ladies and gentlemen, that guy who should have, they should have said, you're under arrest. He's going to do it again. He's a professional assailant. What's going on here? He gets to walk? What? And have people saying, oh my God. And by the way, you can't say this. This is a guaranteed mistrial, but it's great to say. What if that were your kid? Can't say that. Or how would you feel? Or my favorite, which you can't say, if I'm the prosecutor, I want you to go back and we're going to send a message to, no, we're not going to send any message. That's called the golden rule. But how would you feel? That's a mistrial, but it's great. But you kind of work around it. You kind of said, like, this right now, think about this. Think about, you can say, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you who the victim was. This Cassie. Oh, I'll tell you, there's no doubt about her. You know who really is victimizing her? The federal government. Bring her in, set her up. She's got to testify. She's pregnant. Do you think this is good for her and the baby? What is she accomplishing? She said she wasn't trafficked. She said she wasn't. What is she there for? She's there to poison your mind. She's and you always say, she's a lovely person. I've been with nothing against her. She's ordering a subpoena. She's following a subpoena, a summons to be here, a jury summons. I got to be here. You think she wants to be here? No. Is this a great career move? No. So what do? They're bringing her in. She's a victim. And who did the terrible things? The person they granted immunity to. That guy, Mr. Sex Worker. He's the guy. Not him. I mean, this is, do you see what's going on? Why? Because you never heard of him. Quick, what was his name? You forgot already. See? He's not a big name. They used to do that all the time in federal court, where they always would go after the Italian mob. Never the Albanians, never the Chinese triads, never the Russians, never the Serbians. No. It was like Vinny Ungats and all that, Vinny Ciccinudo and all that. That's the one, because that's Goodfellas. That's the mafia. That's front page. That's what this is. Boy, I was a guy who brought down Diddy. That's a nice little thing on my, yep, I was the one. Who knows? Maybe I'll go on the Michael Franzese show or something. I'll have my own podcast one day. And how I brought down Diddy. Maybe Harvey Levin will be. Maybe I could. You think that's far fetched? I don't.
Can they still negotiate a deal for Diddy? Once you start trial, you can't get a plea
Sure
bargain,
you
can
can.
you? Or does that you can?
Absolutely. Oh, but it means that something. It means that it's seen more in civil cases. But listen, if the prosecutor said this sucks, and I would have no problem because the way you talk to the prosecutor is much different. You can say, "Come here, Shawnee, come here, yeah. This is a piece of scheisse. Whoa, yeah. How do you feel about this? Not good. Me neither. All right, I'm going to be reasonable. What do the guidelines show? What are we looking at here? Because of sentencing guidelines. If you're found guilty, this, and this, you got to prove it. Okay, if you knock one of those out, reduce it. What are we looking at there? The judge can also go below the guidelines. If there's a clear and convincing reason to go below it, he can also go above the guidelines. Let's work something out. He's been in jail for how long? What do you want to do? This isn't a lifer. This is a dog. And then you look great because you could say in the end, and the DOJ now says, hey, don't look at us. This is a Biden case. Do what you want with it. I don't care. That was a Biden case. This isn't ours. So they could plea negotiate now. Absolutely.
So, Monica, isn't it illegal to take money for? How can they testify and still perhaps identify as a lady or man of the night?
Monica knows what she's talking about. That's like prostitution. Oh, you mean like him? You mean like the sex worker? Yeah. Wait. They're charging Diddy with prostitution, but a man who was what is he called? What's he called? A sex worker, sex actor, what's he called? Seriously, I don't know. Is it a sex actor or he is one. He's testifying? A sex performer or whatever, or actor. I mean, and you look at him, it's like, are we confusing the witness list from the? I mean, why isn't he sitting next to Mr. Combs? They work together. They made him a deal. Why? Because they don't want him. He doesn't have a name. He's got the name. He's got it.
Will all the Diddy videos be used as evidence?
Evidence again of what? Let me go back to this. Crossing state lines, forced fraud. God damn it. Sorry. Forced fraud or coercion, racketeering, conspiracy. Oh, I mean, you could sit there and say, they've got videos. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I don't know how to tell you anything, but if you ever got the chance to go within a half a block of this courthouse, you go to any little coffee shop, they're taking pictures of their croissant or their cruller. We take pictures of everything. And you don't think that somebody's not going to take a picture of that? Not for extortion, but just because we take pictures? I mean, you've got somebody who brings in baby oil with, in a 50-pound drum. And this guy's dressed like with a Valkyrie helmet. This guy's got a spear. They're dressed as diapers. You don't think somebody's going to film that? Now, is that against the law? No. I mean, if it's not. So there's children. In fact, there's no minors mentioned here. You notice that? That's not a part of that. So let's see. The night's young, but if they do that, remember they've got to stay within the four corners of the indictment.
Would they go easier on Diddy if he's made a deal to give up names and videos?
What names? What, the people who were there? He's the ringleader. That's like when they asked John Gotti, would you give up names? Names of what? I'm the leader. I'm the head of the. What am I going to do? Give up underlings? You don't want that. Every time they tried to bring up names, other people did. Now I tell you what'd be good if Diddy figures, you know what? I got nothing to lose. Oh, I would. I want to do a dream. Like if somebody says, you don't realize this, but Diddy just found out he's got a disease. He's got 6 weeks to live. And then he said, I'm taking the stand. Let me tell you a little story. My name is Shaun Combs. And here's a guy. You know who turned me on to this freak off? This guy. Yeah, he did it. And then you bring up a name. You can just imagine it. Yeah, he did it. Oh, yeah. See, that's the world we live in. It's a dark, dank, stanky, dirty, awful, terrible world. And I'm telling you, it's the world. It's like Meyer Lansky or whatever. It's the world that we've accepted. This is the way it is. Do you know what it's like to be me? I'm 20-something years old. Do you know the women who would kill each other to show up to one of my parties? Do you know what it's like? This may be hard for you to understand. I got to turn them away. I've got to turn them away. Now, this may not be something you like, and I don't expect you to. By the way, that's Shaun's cue to wrap it up. He goes like this. So he lifts up and he makes that strained Valsalva maneuver, like he's trying to pass a hockey puck. But anyway,
no, you've still got several outstanding questions if you want to keep going.
Yes, please go.
Well, you're talking about names. Lisa's saying, could Diddy be taking the fall for someone like Clive Davis?
No. Fall for what? Was he there? Did he get the actor to do these things to whatever? No. Listen, you want to bring up. They've been talking about Clive Davis and other people for the longest time. Do you understand the whole notion of since Morris Levy, since roulette, organized crime, MCA, Lou Wasserman, it goes back forever. These are some of the biggest names, the big Suge Knight, and I mean just billions of dollars. The fall for what? Who are you going to give up? What? Who? What are they going to do? I'm serious. What?
Has Jay-Z moved to the UK to avoid going down?
What was this?
Has Jay-Z moved to the UK to avoid getting sent down?
Listen, Russell Simmons he said, enough of this noise. I'm out of here. He's out of I also wonder, now maybe you know more about this than me. First of all, you're not going to get away from this because we have your assets and everything else like that. And I'm not saying these people are involved. Let me get this straight. But where's Beyonce? Where are these people? Who's coming to Diddy's help? Remember when Alec Baldwin went through his stuff with Rust? Remember that? You know what the first thing I noticed? Nobody's coming to his side. It's a different thing completely. But if they had gone after, for example, Clint Eastwood, or if they had Ron Howard or Martin Scorsese, you would have had people lined up and say, you can't charge him with murder. This is guns. This is what we do. But with Alec Baldwin, screw him. They didn't like him. You think somebody would sit there and say, let me tell you about Diddy. I have just for example, I have a charity. I'm making this up. And we had a kid who needed a liver transplant. And he gave me his plane. And he told me, so whatever you do, don't tell people I did this. This is what this man's about. Did you hear about that? Oh, I'd love to do that. Let me tell you what he's done. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do this. Did anybody grab you into this? No. Did anybody pull you into this? No. This isn't a cult. Everybody walked in voluntarily. You may not like it. I don't like it. But I don't like a lot of things. But that's not the gold standard for this. Have people talk about him. Let me tell you what he's done. He's made more black millionaires than you can imagine. This is a walking Trump, a MAGA dream, but he has put more people. They came to him. He is one of the best businessmen. He's did this and did that. And Warren Buffett. He has made people. And the reason why they want to knock him off because they want his stable, his stuff, they want to see him go. That's the way it is. And I would say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sorry, but you walked into something. I've done a lot of cases, and this judge has too. But these guys make the mafia look like the junior league. I mean, they are hardcore. Don't you think for a moment that the first time this happened, and every other time there's somebody with a camera saying, I'm going to set this guy up. Don't think for one moment that the world now is, if you go to a party, take the picture and make sure you're out of there. Because this is the new rule. Let's all turn on each other. Do you think Hollywood, like I said, the Stones, Zeppelin, the Beatles, you think any of these people, Warren Beatty, Jack Nicholson, shall I go on? During the days of this, I mean, what did we just wake up? What? This isn't trafficking. If you want to see trafficking, go to Catholic Charities, go to CPS, Child Protective Services. I don't know what you call them in your country, but I guarantee you. And if you want to go into trafficking, look what the Biden administration did and other countries too. When these unaccompanied minors come into your great country and they're disappeared and all of a sudden they're just gone. And you know what happens to them. That's where the trafficking is. Not here. This is a joke. They're trying to. This is a diversion. This is a false flag. It's a limited hangout. Whatever you want to call it. That's where this is.
Laurie wants to know, when will it stop? Why is it the path for talented people to succeed has to go through these beasts?
I don't know who you're talking about. You mean the Diddy, or you mean the federal government, or?
Laurie's saying, why to get famous do people have to go through these monsters, basically? Sell their souls in Hollywood.
Because whenever there's a power differential, and whenever there is something that is not necessarily quantifiable. Look, if I use football or rugby or whatever it is, that's quantifiable. You could say, this guy is, let's say, Georgie Best. He's great. I don't have to. He's great. But what's great in music? Who's great? They're great if I say they're great. Can you listen to people and say they're demonstrably? Have you ever heard, listen, with all due respect, and I don't mean any disrespect, but I think my musical taste is pretty sophisticated. If you played Tupac and Fat Smelly Bastard or whatever these people, I really, you know what? I'm glad you can tell the difference. I can't. So if you really mean to tell me that this guy is somehow the Beethoven of this, okay, fine. It's very subjective. So as long as you have a bunch of music and a bunch of people saying this guy is subjective, I can play with that. And if I can play with that, then I can lure you. You see, Shaun, I take your dreams and your ambitions. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use it against you. Now, football, basketball, different story. That's performance. They're great, and it's measured, and they run this fast, and they score these many points, and that's a different story. But this acting, there's a movie out now, by the way, on Netflix called 0 Day or whatever it is, Robert De Niro. It's really pretty. There's a lot of interesting kind of conspiracy stuff in there. He's the worst actor in the world. This guy's out of money, and he's making this stuff. Now, why is Robert De Niro such a great actor? I don't know. Is he that good? I don't think so. But somebody did. So as long as there's that sense of, subjective, you're going to see this. Because what do you think it is? It's subjective. And by the way, every mother and father should get their daughter in particular and say, I want you to learn from this. Because somebody's going to do it. It's going to be a boss. It's going to be a boyfriend. It's going to be somebody who is trying to use power differential to get to something very precious, your soul, your body, your heart. So pay attention to this.
As long as you'll bend over on Clive's pegging bench, you'll escalate.
You're
career.
sick. You're sick. You're sick. If you be bending over and grabbing your wee ankles.
Who do you think they'll call to the stand next, and why? Usher, Justin Bieber, Mary J. Blige.
Justin Bieber, what is that about? Oh, I mean, listen. If they do, first of all, it wouldn't happen. But I'm going to sit there and say, wait a minute, what? This is Diddy? Diddy did this? Diddy did this? Hey, Justin, how much did you make? Do you ever realize, what was the last time does he have a song? Where does this money come from? Where is this? Where did Diddy, all these houses and these families, where? We could talk about that later. I'd love for somebody to say, well, let me get this straight. So you're like this because of him? Let me talk to you about some mother who's working 2 jobs because her old man split and she's working 2 jobs to take care of her, and she went through something like that. You don't see her. So I'm supposed to what? Feel sorry for you? What? Because what? This is because you're going to, and you know the picture of him with the bong? Did he do this? Good luck with that one. Good luck. That'd be the best thing for Diddy. Diddy sitting like this, and here comes this guy coming. Oh, please. See, I got to tell you something. Just so that you know, because people might think I despise these people. I despise them. They're pond scum. They're a waste of flesh. The fact that they're on the phylogenetic tree makes me wretch. Okay? I don't like any of them. I don't like entertainment. I don't like anybody who thinks they're better than me. and they think they're better than you because of some half-ass talent. This guy, he's a walking moron. He hasn't closed his mouth since the late 80s. He can't close his mouth. He looks retarded. Now, I'm sorry, but he's done very well doing what? I don't know. But he's done it. All these people. And I'm saying this right now, and be careful. You can take all of them. You can take everybody in the end, and rap in particular. Rap, hip-hop, rock, all these folks. I don't know who they think they are. Even Simon Cowell. Who do you think you haven't cured a disease? You're not a I mean, I don't so I don't believe me. I don't like them. They haven't done anything. But even if you're Hitler, you deserve a fair trial. I know that's hard for people to understand. You got to have a fair trial, or just throw the Constitution away, period. What's it going to be? We get to pick? It's like the death penalty. Well, but you, yes, but not you.
Why have they made an example out of Diddy instead of Epstein?
Because they killed Epstein.
List not an elite?
What is with you and the client list? What is with this fascination? Okay, here's the list. Here, read it. Read it. Here's a list. Okay, no, I'm just saying, go through the list. Say it. Bill Gates, Albert Einstein. Okay, fine. What are you going to do about this? They're going to say he happens to have had Ethel Kennedy. What do you want from this? And they're going to say, I don't know what's going on. The list is not important. That's not it. The list, even the recordings are not important. Mr. Gates, Bill Gates, is that you? Is that you dressed in a Nike jacket squatting over a goldfish bowl? Is this AI? I don't remember that. That's you, isn't it? I don't think, because you have to authenticate it. Well, who is that? Me? No, I'm not that fat. Really? No, I didn't do that. That's you, isn't it? No. Well, where's your? I mean, what are you supposed to? Seriously, what do we think? That's not it. That's not the question. Is where's Ghislaine, and how much money does she have on some offshore bank for keeping her mouth shut and keeping her family alive? Because you know how that thing works.
And she's going to use that for an appeal. All right, so I'll take this one. Are the two lists connected? Epstein and Diddy list? Yes, they are connected. Naomi Campbell is the missing link. She is on both of them. All right, so Susan Reich, why isn't Cassie's case being tried separately? I thought it was going to be.
It's 12 years ago, or whatever it was. It's over. They settled. They did this. Cassie doesn't want to go to court. She got her money. She's knowing this stuff. What are you going to do? You're going to go to... Why didn't they... I mean, this guy should have been charged in, put it this way, in state court with battery or assault, depending upon what it is. Was she permanently injured? No. Is he a first-time offender? What are you going to do? Get probation? What, a couple... I mean, what... It looked horrible. The thing that I want people to understand about that, and I'd love to prosecute that, is, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to show the video. Did you notice anything? He kicked her. Now, let me think about this. Punching is one thing. That's what most people do. They punch, they slap. It's almost like an honorable way to do it. It's like, you know what? I'm mad at you. But when somebody says, I have such contempt for you, you're vile, you're nothing, I step on you. I could just punch you. I could do whatever. I'm going to, and risk. You know, anybody who thinks a foot to the head is like, this is like a club. This is, you can kill people. But it shows an utter contempt, a level of savagery. You know, there was this one part of the OJ case, which nobody talks about. There was a handprint on Nicole's leg that looked like this. It was like he pushed her away, like contempt. Remember during the OJ case, they said, whoever did this hated her. This is hate. This is not somebody you're going to. So it makes it like, ooh. So this is how you take a regular battery or an assault and you make it something a little bit different. Like, this is a message. This is what I think of you. And you can also say, you know what he is? Because remember, he hates women. And what did he do? Did he do that to her? No, he hired a proxy, somebody who could get the job done, because he can't. That's why I could come up with some Freudian stuff. You see, he can't perform. because one of the problems of him is the fact of who he really is. Because there's a whole lot of other people. He's an equal opportunity. And in the rap world, that dog don't hunt. In this hyper masculine world, that's well hidden. So he's a liar to himself, a liar to them. And when he gets this woman, he shows this desecration of her and the entire female Oh, you could just go on. I mean, I can make any kind of Freudian connection, but it's true though. You look at the way in serial killing stuff, look at the modality. How do they do it? This isn't a strangle. This was something. I don't want to go into detail, but look what Ted Bundy did. It will keep you up at night.
Do you think Diddy's going to beat this then?
No. Sadly, no. I mean, when I say beat it, for them to acquit of everything, I mean, it could be. But something tells me when you're at that level, I'm afraid it takes a great jury and a great lawyer and a great facts to be able to sit. It could happen, though. Put it this way. The prosecutor is thinking, what are we doing? And you know the lead saying, what are you doing? Do you have the right case? Why are you trying the Cassie case again? What does this have to do with this? What are you doing? Why did you put on somebody who said that we gave immunity to somebody who did this to her? What are you doing? This is a simple thing. 1, 2, 3. Put on the evidence and go home. That's it. End of discussion.
Why do you think Diddy hasn't ratted out the rest of Hollywood yet?
What is he going to do? What is he going to do? Okay, all right. Let me go, and I'll tell you what you want to know. What do you want to know about other people? We're not interested in them. Okay, let's say so-and-so. Just think of some big rapper. Just anybody that comes to your mind. Don't mention it. Just think, right? Probably the name I'm thinking. Let's assume he says that. And they say, well, what are we going to do with that? Are you saying he's into trafficking? No. You mean he's a scumbag? Yeah. Well, we knew that. Well, did he kill anybody? What do they have on him? Well, he's a lot of underage. That's no. Now, if you said, well, I'll tell you one thing. Let's say Tupac, he was the Unabomber. Now that would be good. Or he's a serial killer, or he's a drug dealer. But he's a dirtbag who takes advantage of women. Can you work on that a little bit more? That's not exactly rare. What's he gonna give up? What's he gonna get? What is he gonna say? Who? Well, the Yorkshire Ripper. Yeah, that's not him. It's that would be good. See, people always think that there's this exchange. I'll give up somebody. Who's bigger than Diddy? He's the man of the hour. And very frankly, I don't know if the people who are bringing this can really say, in terms of the hierarchy of famous people, who's bigger than Diddy. They might think he's the biggest. I don't know. They've had their chance. They brought this stuff up. The thing is, why him? Why? Of all the people and why even bother? Why is he so important? Nobody was complaining about this. Nobody was talking about the freak-offs. It's a bunch of rappers. Nobody cares. Did he upset somebody? Is he the living legend where they say, remember what they did to Diddy? Cooperate. That doesn't make any sense to me. What's so special about him? He's nothing. Now, if Bob Iger, the head of Sony Records, that might be big, I guess. But him, I still frankly don't get it.
Did he upset Diageo, which is approximately 10% owned by BlackRock?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so why aren't J-Lo and Diddy being charged for the nightclub shooting of Netanya Rubin? Because there was a fall guy who did 10 years for that one.
Yeah. Well, you got right to that one.
We had Netanya on, and very.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Can any statement that was taken in a civil lawsuit be used in his current trial?
Sure. If it's hearsay, especially if it was in court, if it was sworn to, oh yeah, absolutely.
Will any of his sons be made or asked to testify?
If they have something to refute, chances are they would have been on a witness list. You would have known about it ahead of time. Now, all of a sudden, you can, if surprise witnesses come up, or you can say, hey, you brought up something which I didn't think we'd go there. I want to bring my son up as a rebuttal witness. And then, by the way, you know what the rebuttal of the rebuttal is? It's called surrebuttal. We can go back and forth. So witness lists are always, you kind of know where this is going. Plus, you want the other side to know. Remember, in court, you don't want to surprise anybody. You want to say, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring on his son, who happened to be there. And you can try to impeach him all you want. Are you his son? Yep. And you love your father? Yep. And I was there. And that didn't happen. And let me also tell you, who knows? I mean, and wait till they start getting people to maybe later on in his case in chief. Remember, opening statement, both sides. Prosecution goes first. They call their first witness, direct examination, cross-examination from the defense. Call the next witness, direct examination, cross-examination. After they're done with their case, they rest. The prosecution rests. The government rests. They make a motion for a judgment of acquittal, which is almost 100% denied. Then the defense puts its case in chief on. And it can rebut. It can bring up questions. It can just tear Cassie apart. You can go berserk with this one. People said this didn't happen. Things that Cassie said. What if Cassie said, for example, you see this video? You know what this video is? $20 million. That's what it is. Who knows? If I could start whittling away and have that jury say, you're wasting my time with these thugs and kids and these miserable spoiled brats. I don't want to be a part of this. And then at the end, closing argument. See, out of all the cases, terrorism, international traffic, real trafficking, we're here for this. You know how much this is costing people? I mean, this is terrorism. Anyway.
Why can't they make Rico stick for transporting kids?
Where are the kids? Where are they? I mean, yeah, you can, but I want somebody to sit there and say, this is what happened. They didn't even make that case clear in the Ghislaine case. Remember, if you want to do it, you can go to charities, you can go to the federal government, the people who brought kids in, cartels who brought kids in, unaccompanied minors. Oh, it's being done all the time. You can go to churches, you can go to, name it. There are places where kids, it happens all the time. And Las Vegas, escort service, I don't know in the UK, but here in New York, every block, there are nail salons. Chinese, Asian, Mexican. And they have these little licenses with their pictures and their name. Now, I don't want to sound crude, but I swear to God, it's the same picture. I can't tell one from the other. And they're there, and they come and they go, and nobody checks. All these girls who come in, there's more. And labor trafficking is huge. Not the stuff you're thinking of. Labor trafficking. Anybody going after that? Nope. You're going after Diddy? He made more. Remember that thing again. He's made more millionaires than you can imagine.
Why do you think a few 50-year-old jury persons were taken? Because they knew the times culture when we were young?
I have most judges will say, unless there is some serious impediment to you, you're going to be fine. And I really think that jurors, every time somebody's come up with a rule that says, well, they're this and that, they turn out to be terrific. Every rule I've seen, as long as there's something not, as long as they listen, I don't want independent. And the thing is, if you get the chance to voir dire or to question them, the most important question I have, if I could ask just one question, Mr. Attwood, let's say it's Friday and everybody wants to go home and it's 11-1 guilty, but you're not buying it. You have a reasonable doubt. And they say, come on, let's go. We've been here the whole time. 11 of us, just do it. Do it. Do you have pride? Would you be just as proud as to say, yeah, I was a holdout, even though they'll keep it from the world, but yeah, I did. Can you look and there? And if you think you know pressure, oh, you ain't seen nothing because God knows what. Will you promise me that you will maintain the courage and your oath? And all of them say, you know what? Not only will he do that, but I'll do that. Because you're reminding them. That's what I want. Remember, I want to win. You know how I win? Reasonable doubt. Either an acquittal or a hung jury. I want them I want to short circuit this legally. I want them to say, I don't know. One juror, one count, one. That's it. It's got to be unanimous. That's all I want to do. Or if that fails, get them on appeal.
Thank you, Lionel. You've answered all of the sensible questions. What can the viewers look forward to on your channel?
Tonight at 7 our time, I'm doing this. I'm devoting because I think people love this. And let me tell you something. When it comes to this subject matter, the hell with Harvey Levin, you demand. That's all I'm going to say. You are it. And nobody is able to take this story and to take it from to basically dissect it. So congratulations to you, dear friend.
Well, cheers, and thanks for coming on. And we hope to see you soon, because this is going to be running, isn't it, for the next few weeks? So,
well, you know how to reach me. All the best. And to your wonderful family of viewers, thank you. All the best. Follow me at Lionel Nation. Have a great day, sir.
Cheerio to you and Lynn. Thank you.
Indeed.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. What a phenomenal guest, folks. Thank you for tuning in. We did get through all of the Lionel questions. There was a few little questions outstanding that I can go over right now. When am I going to get some UK crime podcast again? So we're doing a series with Charlie Seeger, old school Liverpool gangster. We've done part 3 with him, has just come out a couple of weeks ago. And I'm filming with 2 former prison officers at the end of this week. So we do have some more UK crime podcast stuff coming out. Doreen is asking about the birthing center on Epstein Island. Doreen, I just interviewed Juliet Bryant, who was with Epstein and Maxwell for almost 2 years. And she's talking about the birthing center. She's talking about traveling the world with Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, etc. Gets into some insane details that we've never heard before. And that podcast should be coming out next week. All right. So a lot of celebrities hide under charities for children. Look at the United Nations. I was watching a podcast about them today, and the guest was talking about how in countries where people are starving to death, they go to the United Nations for food, and these predators who are embedded tell the mom, right, pick one of your kids in exchange for giving us this food that's going to save your kids' lives. And the mom's basically got to tell one of the kids to take one for the team, and the absolute devastation that causes. And these charities and foreign aid entities, apparently, this guest said, have got bigger reach for predators than the Catholic Church. So I was mortified hearing this today, and I'm going to try and get that guest on. Will the CCTV off when Diddy is unalived? Just like Jeffrey, yes, Bill, that is the play. That's how they do it, and the guards have to fall asleep simultaneously as well. Let me see if there's any other final questions before I get on to maths. Nope, I think we've answered all of them, folks. We have possibly got Kirby Summers coming on at noon tomorrow to talk about the Prince Andrew, Virginia video that the FBI is threatening to release. I spoke to Ryan Dawson about it, spoke to Kirby about it. They said it's huge news, and it adds to the sinister timing of Virginia's unaliving. So Kirby's got something to add to that. And then we've got Charlie Robinson, who's not been on in months, is going to be covering all these subjects at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So we've possibly got 2 phenomenal guests coming back tomorrow. Hope to see you then. And Ron's going to be covering more Diddy trial live as well today. Tomorrow he did a phenomenal job today, and he's going to keep that going. All right.